Hi, I'm Brenda Quintana, coming to you from the Beehive. Before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I hit 2,000 YouTube subscribers yesterday, so thank you so much for watching my videos and for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a whimsical paper flower that would make a great birthday gift or a gift for Mother's Day. I have just tied these flowers up with some Blackberry Bliss stitch satin ribbon, but if you stay tuned tomorrow, I'll show you another way to give these flowers. Aren't they cute? So let's get started. We're going to make the stem. So you're going to need the Simply Scored, and you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is a 1/2 inch by 6 inches long. And I'm going to put this 1/2 inch side up at the top of my scoring board, and we are going to score it at the 1/4 inch mark all the way down. So this one sometimes is a little hard to score because we don't have a lot of cardstock to hold on to. So I kind of just creatively move my fingers around the piece as I'm going down. And I've got my piece scored. And so you're just going to fold it in half along the score line. Okay, and you can take your bone folder and smooth it out a bit. And then we're going to open it up and we're going to take some Tombow. Did I mention we're making the stem for the flower? I hope so. So we'll just put some glue. I'm just putting it all the way in the center. I'm leaving a little bit at the ends without adhesive because during this process some of the glue will probably squeeze out. So I'm going to put this down and I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to run it along, and you can already see some of the glues kind of coming out a little bit. It's kind of hard to avoid, but when you double over this piece of cardstock, it makes a nice strong stem that will hold the flower head. And if you want to grab a tissue and just get rid of that excess glue for now, and then just wipe that off a little bit. And then what we're going to do, this is where the flower head is going to go. I'm going to cut down about maybe 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but just so as long as you've got kind of a cut, the kind of 2 equal pieces. You can kind of see that there. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on one of these, and then I'm just going to cross it over. What I'm doing here is I'm just trying to narrow up the stem at the top, and that's where my little flower head will go later. So we can just set this aside for a moment. And now we're going to make the flower head. So we are going to need the Big Shot. We are going to need a piece of designer series paper. I have cut this one to 5 inches by 5 inches. And this color is Hello Honey from the 2014-2016 In Color designer series paper stack. So just so you know where that's coming from. And I've got my magnetic platform on here, and I've got one cutting pad already down, and we're using the Circles Collection Framelits, and we're using this largest one, which is a scallop circle. And I'm just going to pop that on here. We're going to cut it. Okay. And we're going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. Just fold it in half and just smooth it out. And then we're going to fold it into a half again. So really we've folded it into kind of, so it's into a 1/4 piece of the scallop circle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut down along the scallops towards this point down here. We're going to get a little skinnier as we come to here, but if you kind of angle it towards there, you shouldn't have any problem with cutting any of the pieces off. So we're going to cut down about 3/4 of an inch to an inch down towards this point down here. And we're going to do that in between each of the scallops. Right now we are creating the petals for your flower. I'm just trying to keep them somewhat equal, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter because this flower has a lot of petals and you're not going to notice if one is longer than the other. So you just want to roughly get it so it's about 3/4 to an inch. Then what I'm going to do is, because I keep measuring this wrong down here, I'm actually going to measure myself. I want to cut this bottom tip off, and I want to cut it off so it's about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to kind of make myself marks on, I don't know if you can see that. I made myself a mark 3/4 of an inch down here and 3/4 of an inch down here. And this is not an exact science. This just gives me enough of a place to roll my flower, and it takes away some of the bulk of the paper. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball an arc, kind of like a circle, like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So I've just cut that little piece off, and now we're going to open this up. And we've got kind of a shape like this. Now I need to open up this circle. So one of the places where I folded here, this wasn't cut through because it was on a fold. So I'm going to start off, first of all, I'm going to cut this open. So now it's a circle that opens, okay? These other ones along the fold, these two look fine. This double one over here didn't get cut either. So I'm just going to make a petal out of that. I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm just going to cut the same length as the one right beside it. So I've got all these little single petals. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to take my first one here, and I'm going to bend it over. This is where my little stem is going to kind of come into place. So I'm just going to bend this over so it has a little place to nest for the first turn. I don't know if you can see that. I've just bent over the first one. It really doesn't matter which color paper you have up on the top. The flowers that I made before have the pattern on the outside of the flower, so I'm just continuing that pattern. So I've got my stem back in the picture, and this narrow end that we made by cutting those two pieces together, I'm just going to put some adhesive or some Tombow glue right on the end right there. And that place that we folded over, you can come in from either way. So you're just going to put that in that little folded piece. And then we're going to take some Tombow, and I like to just kind of put a little bit of Tombow at a time, otherwise I get my fingers in it. So I kind of go to the next place where I have my little fold mark, and I'm just going to start rolling this flower. Can you kind of see? I'm keeping it even with this bottom piece, so the top is kind of getting fuller while the bottom is kind of narrowing up. So you can kind of see, I hope you can see that. I'm just rolling it. So I've gotten almost to the next fold, so now I'm going to take some more adhesive. You could roll it without adhesive, but this way you're really creating a tight bond for the base, and it's not going to unravel at all. It's going to kind of stay in place for you. So I like to do it. If you want to put less adhesive, you can try that. So I'm just kind of coming around the curve, turning. And then I've got just a little bit more to go. And when we get to the end, some of the adhesive might squeeze out. So I always have a tissue handy. Okay, so I'm coming around the last little bend right here. And you almost actually want some of the adhesive to squeeze out, because then you know that you've gotten adhesive right to the end. And then I'm just going to take my tissue and wipe away that excess. I'm going to stick my thumb right on that seam for a little bit, just so it seals. And then I'm just going to take my little petals, and you can pull them down individually, or you can kind of bring them down like that. you can kind of just shape your flower. It is kind of whimsical. It might look a little bit like a carnation, maybe a little bit like a marigold, but it's kind of cute and pretty with the designer series paper. Okay, I think we've got that all adhered. And now I just like to put on a couple of little leaves as petals. And so I've cut 2 pieces of this Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I've cut them to 1/4 inch by 3 inches long. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stylus tool from my Simply Scored, and this little narrow end right here, I am going to use it to kind of roll my little Mossy Meadow pieces around. Kind of give it like a, this is another piece of whimsy, kind of a little curl. See, I'm doing this not on this thin part and not on this middle part. There's kind of a narrower part. Actually, you could choose which side. This one looks maybe a little narrower. I'm not sure. But anyway, you just want to pick one of those ends and just kind of roll your little strip on there. Just leave yourself a little bit of straightaway on the end. And then you just take a little bit of the Tombow, and I notice like carnations have that little kind of, those little pieces, those little leaves that come up on the stem. So this can kind of be like the little leaf of a carnation, or it's not quite a carnation, but it's a little bit like one. But anyway, it's my whimsical interpretation of a flower. But then you can kind of just, you know, shape that a little bit, and you've got yourself a little flower. And then if you make a few more, you can, let's see if I can squeeze this one into my little tied piece. Doesn't that look cute? And so let me just show you quickly how to make this little tag down here. So for that, I am going to need a piece of Whisper White. There's just a piece of scrap paper. This is Hello Honey. And I've taken, this stamp set is called Crazy About You. And I've taken this flower from that, and we're going to stamp that in Hello Honey. So let me ink that up. And it's really quite strong, intense, this yellow. So I'm going to stamp it off onto this piece of paper. And then I'm going to stamp the second time onto my Whisper White. Okay, so it's just kind of a nice pale yellow color. And then I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss ink pad. These are all matching colors from that paper collection. And I'm just going to, this is again from Crazy About You. I've got a Happy and Mother's Day that I can use, and I cut day off of Mother's so I could have it going up and down like that. That's the nice thing about photopolymer. You can kind of play a little bit with the greetings if you have like a double word. So I've stamped Happy Mother's Day kind of in the middle of that. And then since I didn't want to have another punch or anything, there is a scallop circle punch that matches that if you wish. But if you just bring back in your Framelits, and I got other circles. So the fourth smallest one, if I can get that one out, is the perfect size to cut this out. So get my magnetic platform, and here's where the magnetic platform really shines, because this is going to hold my little framelit in place as I do the cutting. So I've just kind of centered that on there, and I've already got a cutting plate underneath my cardstock, and I'm going to put another one on top, and then I can just go ahead and run that through. And then to make this into a little tag, you can just punch this. This is the 1/8 inch handheld punch. I'm just going to punch one of these petals right here. And I don't know, you've sometimes maybe seen this at a store. You know, I finished tying this ribbon and then I wanted to add the tag and I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to untie my ribbon again. So what you can do is you can cut a little cut into that circle and then you can kind of like just push it around the ribbon. So this one isn't actually even held on. It's got that little cut through it. So you can just kind of nest it back on. So it's my little cheater version of how to get a tag on when you've already got your ribbon tied so nicely. And there you go. These are the ones using the 2014, 2016 in colors. And we're going to have a bunch of in colors retiring soon, the 2013, 2015 in colors, but I just wanted to show you quickly how pretty those look as well. Tomorrow, I will show you another way that you can give these flowers. So all the supplies you'll need to make them are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now.